IWF updates Chinese women's nationals, and I announce the Weightlifting House store giveaway. Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of the Weightlifting House news show, the only weightlifting news show in the world. It has been an incredibly tumultuous week in the world of weightlifting, and I and the others at Weightlifting House have been doing absolutely everything we can to get as much news about, everything that's going on to you guys as possible. I'm going to go through kind of the TLDR, the cliff notes right now, just to keep all of you updated on literally the last 12 months. If you want to know the specifics of the last 2 weeks, we have many articles up on weightliftinghouse.com. You can also head over to Reddit and read various posts there. You can head over to insidethegames.biz, catch up with maybe even the most in-depth recounting of everything that's going on there. I'll put links to all these things down below. In the meantime, I've also been recording as many interviews as I can. I just got done talking with Brian Oliver, who is the writer for Inside the Games. We had a fascinating discussion from his perspective as almost the gatekeeper not the gatekeeper, that's probably the wrong way of saying it, the person who has been given all of the information from the IWF and is the guy who, I guess, writes it up and disseminates it to everyone. So that was fantastic. In 45 minutes, I'm going on with Ursula Papandreou, who was the interim IWF president for the last 7 or 8 months. So again, that's going to be really interesting to get another take on everything that's going on. So I'll be releasing those through the podcast and through the YouTube, though perhaps slightly cut down on the YouTube over the coming week or 2 weeks. So I'm going to now go through the cliff notes of everything that's happened. If you want to find out whether you are the winner of the Weightlifting House store giveaway, then I'm going to release that. I'm going to talk about who wins that at the end of this episode, just before the People's List. So you can either skip to it, I guess, if you want, or you can watch the whole way through. So let's go back right to the start. The IOC has been talking about removing weightlifting from the Olympics for a while, mainly due to doping offences. The president of the IWF, Tamas Ayan, was forced to resign amid a big doping and corruption scandal. Then the acting president was making moves, the acting president being Ursula Papandreou. She was making moves to reform the IWF, leading to hope of a new era and the IOC keeping weightlifting in the Olympics. Then the IWF Executive Board just removed Ursula Papandreou, the acting president, and replaced her with a guy from Thailand, so a country currently suspended for doping and whose name was mentioned in the corruption scandal, allegedly as the person who was handing out monetary bribes for the previous president, Tamas Ayan. Both the IOC and, I guess, the general weightlifting population, the fans, people like me and you, were not happy about that, and for good reason. And the IOC said that the chances of weightlifting remaining as an Olympic sport were on their way down if he was to remain as the president. That president from Thailand, Intarat Yodbang then resigned, leaving another board member to then take his place for the role of president. This guy, Irani, Dr. Irani from Great Britain, is certainly not as blatantly tainted with corruption as the previous one. However, he's still very much linked to the older regime that perhaps we're trying to move beyond. A group of national federations are calling for the entire executive board at the IWF to resign and to have new elections immediately rather than next April as they have been scheduled. Although actually just recently those have been brought back from April to March. So not much of an improvement there, but they're certainly on their way, hopefully, to being able to vote in a new a new executive board a little bit sooner. 2 members of the board have now resigned, Ursula Papandreou, who was of course the acting president from the USA, and Urso from the European Federation. The IWF board has now officially announced elections for March 2021, which is unlikely to satisfy anyone apart from the current board. So that is about as condensed a summary of everything that's gone on over the last 10 months as is possible. Like I said, for way more information, we have podcasts, we have a video last week actually, and we have tons of articles up at weightliftinghouse.com. As I'm sure many of you have realised, Chinese Nationals is currently going ahead, which is exciting. Now, I don't normally cover, or I certainly don't cover every single national championships because the standard in a lot of countries just isn't worth it. But I do so for either popular countries or particularly good countries. And with Chinese Nationals, it tends to be that often the quality of lifting at the top end is even slightly higher, at least in absolute terms, than major World Championships events. So I'm going to go through relatively quickly just the winners of each of the weight categories for the women. The men are still yet to start, but I will certainly do a bit of a wrap up of those guys next week on the Weightlifting House News Show. A quick thank you to Xiaojun Barbell and Shenzhen Weightlifting for posting all of this stuff. If you want to check it out, then follow those guys on Instagram. So we're going to start out in the 49 kilo class with the Snatch world record holder Hu Zihui, who snatched 93 kilos in this competition. She took an attempt at a new world record, 96, but missed. Though Liu Feng ended up winning the session she similarly hit a 93 kilo snatch. She has crazy ankle mobility, her depth is impressive, but she then went and hit 116 kilos in the clean and jerk, which gave her the gold medal in the total. 55 kilo Yu Ling Long snatched 102 kilos. That equaled the world record held by her teammate Li Yejun from the 2018 World Championships. She then went ahead and hit 121 kilos in the clean and jerk for a 223 kilo total and gold medals for her. In the 59s, Luo Shifang also got all 3 gold medals, a 103 kilo snatch, 130 kilo clean and jerk, and bearing in mind she is just 19 years old. Now she was a little bit away off, I suppose, the world records, 107 by Chiu Sim, so I suppose actually only 4 kilos off there. And then 140, of course, is the clean and jerk world record held by Kuo Sung Chun. But even so, 103, 130 for a 233 total for Luo Shifang. Next we have arguably the most successful current weightlifter in the world. It's 64 kilo Deng Wei. Now a quick recap, Deng Wei currently holds all of the world records in this weight class at 117 in the snatch and 145 in the clean and jerk. The 117 is actually the most she's ever snatched. 145 not quite so much. The 145 is the world record in the current 64s, but previously in Rio she actually hit 147 kilos. At this competition, no surprise, she won again. She snatched 113, 4 kilos below her best, and clean and jerked 138, 7 kilos below her current world record and 9 kilos below her all-time personal best. That was enough for the gold medals and a 251 kilo total. In the 71s, Pen Kui Ting, 19 years old, snatched 6 kilos over the world standard. So there's not yet a world record in the 71 kilo weight class. The world standard sits at 117 kilos. She opened up at 115, 2 kilos below that, jumped to 120 on a second, which she made, and then 123 on a third, made it 6 kilos above this world standard. Of course, nothing is official because it's a national competition, but unbelievable. She then slammed the barbell, which I love to see. You don't see a lot from Team China. I suppose Jeong is one of the people who you might get that from, but amazing lifting from Pen Kui Ting at 19 years of age. She then went 123 in the clean and jerk to open, pulled a bit of an Andrei Rybakov there, jumped to 131 and then missed 133. So clearly I guess you can't exactly say that her strength lacks when she's just hit 6 kilos over the world record, but her strength, I guess, relative to her speed, technique, all that sort of stuff, does lack at this point. But at only 19 years of age, she has another decade for that to increase. So she ended up going 123, 131 for a 254 kilo total. Over now to the 76s, we have Zhang Wang Li, the clean and jerk and total world record holder in the 71s, and the clean and jerk world record holder in the 76s. She is, as far as I am aware, the only person to hold world records in more than one weight category. She ended up snatching 112 kilos, missing her first and second attempt, but then managed to make 152 kilos for the win over the 2016 Olympic champion Zheng Yan Mei, who went 113, 150. So she was forced to hit that 52, and she did make it. 87 kilo Wang Zuyu went 6 for 6 and took all of the golds. Now, Wang Zuyu has, as I've mentioned before on Instagram and on YouTube, in my opinion, perhaps, the strongest pull in the world at the moment. The height that she meets the bar in the snatch and in the clean and jerk, even at approximately world record weights, is second to none, in my opinion. She went 118, 123, 126, and then in the clean and jerk, 148, 155, 160. The world standard at the moment is 164, so she's just 4 kilos shy of that. And even at that 160, you can see she meets the bar significantly above parallel, which is just absurd. And then finally, from the women of China, we have Li Wenwen, the super heavyweight, the world record holder in the snatch, clean and jerk, and total. She hit all of those world records at 19 years of age. And I actually just uploaded a full competition from her backroom and competition lifts together to the Weightlifting House Patreon page if you want to check that out. That is complete with commentary from me. Also, at this competition, she missed her opener, 133, hit it on her second attempt, made a huge 9 kilo jump to 142 on her third, which she made. That is just 5 kilos below her own world record of 147. She holds a clean and jerk world record at 186 as well. Had she made her first attempt, we would have likely seen her make a jump from 142 to 148 for an unofficial world record, but unfortunately that's going to have to wait probably until the Olympics before we see that. In the clean and jerk, she went 170, 180, and then took an attempt at 187. She yelled something before the lift, which supposedly the translation is YOLO. You only live once. So at 19 years of age, she went out, yelled YOLO, and then hit an unofficial world record at 187, which is potentially the most badass way of hitting a world record, though unofficial, as possible. Let's move over now to the lifts from around the world that weren't in competition. We'll kick things off with Ghana with a good friend of mine. We have Forrester Osei, who just hit 260 kilos for 3 sets of 3 in the back squat as an 89 kilo lifter, which is truly impressive. He then posted a video of himself doing some strict press at, I can't remember what it was light, 40 kilos, 60 kilos, something like that. He's probably training for the next press-off event against Mezzo Hosona and Ilya Ilyin, perhaps, as I posted a video of a few months ago. It's also worth mentioning that he just got appointed as the vice chair of the IWF Athletic Commission. So very excited to see him represent all athletes as well as representing Africa in the, I guess, Athletic Commission. Over in South Korea, 16-year-old Park Hye-jeong just did the unimaginable once again. She snatched 121, she clean and jerked 160. These were in a national competition and are significantly now above her own youth world records. Back over again to China very quickly, we just got to touch base with the GOAT Liu Xiaojun, who will be competing on Friday. So this is probably going to go up on Wednesday, perhaps. So the day after this, Liu will be competing. In training, he just hit a 270 kilo back squat, incredibly fast, filmed from behind by Liu Xiaojun barbell, filmed from the side by Shenzhen Weightlifting. And you can actually see in the shot from behind that there's an enormous screen filming Liu as he hits this 270. And he does it pretty fast. He also hit a 150 kilo pow snatch, not quite a power, certainly not a full depth snatch, especially considering how deep Liu can go. And that is, to my memory, the highest we've seen him catch 150. He's done pow snatches at 150 before. This, though, certainly the highest, which is amazing at 36 years of age. And then he just hit 240 kilos for a very fast front squat. This will be the last sort of heavy lift he does before he competes tomorrow, or 2 days from now, at the Chinese Nationals. Over in Kyrgyzstan now, we have Bekdoolot Rasulbekov, 96 kilo weightlifter, a user of the Weightlifting House thumb tape, in fact, who just hit 210 kilos in the clean and jerk in training, which is a significant improvement over his competition at the World Championships last year. So at Worlds last year, he went 170, 197. To be fair, I think he actually just went 1 for 3 in the clean and jerk. So it wasn't like that was his third and absolute peak attempt, though it was the most that he made. So this 210 kilo clean and jerk, some 13 kilos over his performance from the 2019 World Championships. Over to Ukraine, we have the thick boy, the 109 Dmitro Chumak, who just snatched 190 kilos. Now, most of you will have missed this because it was actually posted on, maybe not even his story, it was posted on somebody's story, and one of you guys out there watching now sent it to me. I'm afraid I can't remember who it was, so I was fortunate enough to see it. But yeah, 190 kilos from Dmitro is more than we've ever seen from him in an international competition, but hopefully predictive of things to come. Over in Latvia, once again, Ritvars Suharev's 81 kilo weightlifter, the under 23 European gold medalist, is doing more impressive squatting than Xiaojun for the third or fourth week in a row. This week, 260 kilos for a triple, and everything moving pretty fast. I think what's interesting to see here, though, to note, is how Ritvars is, he's got a more impressive back squat right now than Xiaojun. I'm not sure about his front squat. We don't see as many front squats from Ritvars. But even so, Lou is still able to stand up 200 plus kilos in the clean, significantly easier than Ritvars. Part of a mixture, I imagine, maybe from the strength of his pull, also just the transference of possibly a slightly higher front squat. Next from Greece, we have a weightlifter who I don't think is actually a weightlifter, but Alex, who edits these videos, was adamant that I put this lift in. I don't even know the name of the guy, but I'm going to put him in, and he doesn't seem like the kind of person who should go into people's lifts. We have someone who is affectionately referred to as the Bloatlord on the interwebs. Very large man from Greece, I believe, who just hit 130 kilos for a set of 6 in the muscle snatch off blocks. Yeah, I'll repeat that one for you. 130 kilos for 6 off the blocks for a muscle snatch. I don't know who he is. He's ridiculous. He also hit 145 kilos for a set of 8 off the blocks for a muscle clean. I mean, these are staggering numbers. Like this guy is absurdly strong. He might be the same guy who does the shrugs with like 450 kilos, where he just sort of, instead of elevating the scapula, he sort of just depresses his neck. I don't know. I think this is the same guy, but I'm sure there are many memes about this guy. Apparently he's becoming more famous because of these ridiculous lifts, but I thought I would mention him. So from one ridiculous weightlifter to one of the fiercest competitors I've ever filmed. From Italy, we have Giorgia Bordignon. She's a 64 kilo weightlifter, and I filmed her before I filmed her in Rome, and I've also filmed with someone else in Qatar actually last year. And when people have actually asked me before who was the most sort of aggressive or intense weightlifter in competition, and I might go so far as to say that it is actually Giorgia Bordignon. Also, I'm not sure how you pronounce her last name because she's Italian. So Giorgio sounds Italian, but then Bordignon is very French. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong and giving it a French flair, but I'm not quite sure how it's pronounced. So apologies, Giorgio, for getting that wrong. She just hit a hang snatch double at 101 kilos and then hit a 128 kilo clean but missed a jerk in the front squat. She's also hit 145 kilos for a relatively easy double in the front squat too, so she is looking phenomenal right now. Sticking with Italy, we have 55 kilo Sergio Macida, the youth and junior world champion. He's a 55 kilo weightlifter, 18 years old, and at the world championships he did 109, 135, but he's improving rapidly. We saw him at the Roma World Cup. He added just a few kilos, 110, 140, but in training he just posted a video of a double in the snatch at 120. That's 10 kilos up on the most we've seen from him in competition. And I think he's probably going to have to be a 61 at this point maybe, unless he's just really increasing this much. He just snatched 125 in training, so 15 kilos up on his best from competition. So if you're not following Sergio Macida, do so. And then finally from Italy, Antonino Pizzolato, who I posted a great video of. If I say so myself, it's just a great video because of the competition between him and Harrison Maris. 81 kilo lifter, Antonino just hit 190 kilos for a very easy clean and jerk in training. The jerk itself was incredibly easy. It was precise, it was fast, it was one of the nicest looking jerks I've seen from him. I think his PR is 201 kilos, though he may have done that as an 85. So 190 is certainly in that 95th percentile range for him, and he's looking great. Okay, I've just checked the time. I've only got 21 minutes before I'm supposed to be on with Ursula, so I'm going to have to sprint through the rest of these so that I can get a good interview with her for you guys also. So let's head over to UK. We've got Khrys Speed, aka K.Speed, on Instagram. He just hit a 170 kilo power jerk and it looked great. He's looking really good. He just tripled 202. He tripled 220 in the back squat. Pause squatted 202 for a double. I was just on his podcast, the Ronin Strength podcast, I think it's called, if you want to check that out as well. Also from the UK, we have Stefano, the weightlifter. I mentioned him last week, and he's just done the dirty again. At the virtual British age groups, under 17, as an 81, he went 6 for 6, 114, 118, 122, 150, 156, 162, which I think is a British record. That's 62. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Moving over to Canada, we have Nicky Varbanov, son of the great Alexander Varbanov. He just hit 133 in the snatch as a 67 kilo weightlifter. That's 1 kilo over the Canadian record. At least that's what I've got written down, and I'm not going to go against what I've written down in the past. So 1 kilo over the Canadian record. His best ever in competition is 135 kilos, so he's just 2 kilos below that. But he did just hit 135 a couple of weeks ago, though it was from the block. So he's pretty much back in as good shape as he's been before. And then lastly, from Canada, we have Quinn Everett, aka Quangggg on Instagram, that's right. Quang He Do It should be his hashtag from now on. He's a 2-time national champion, 163 kilos for a low hang snatch PR he just hit, and a 200 kilo front squat plus jerk. He hit 220 kilos behind the neck last week that I mentioned, so this 200 for a front squat plus jerk, pretty much in line with that, but looked just as easy as the 220. Quickly down now to Venezuela, we have Keydomar Valania, the 89 kilo weightlifter who's been doing some ridiculous lifts. You guys probably remember him for his front squat and back squat in particular. He back squatted 280, he front squatted 280, he back squatted 321 on April 6th, so you can go back on his Instagram and find that. He just hit 170 kilos in the snatch. At the online Uzbek Cup that you guys might remember that I recovered a few weeks ago, he did 170.207. So he certainly is an 89 to watch. And it looks like that's it from the main bulk of this week's episode, which is great because I got to get a move on. So let's very quickly announce the winner of the Weightlifting House store giveaway. So if you weren't aware, which you probably were aware because I've posted this in a few places, we gave a bit of a giveaway on the Weightlifting House store Instagram, the new account that I would be thrilled over the moon with if you guys would go and follow. We have some very exciting products that we're currently manufacturing at the moment in the UK, which is kind of cool. So made in the UK rather than elsewhere. But we did this giveaway, and I'm going to announce who the winner is. And to make it so that you guys believe that I didn't just randomly pick a person, which I wouldn't do, at least randomly pick one myself and choose someone. I did it online. I took a screenshot of the website I used, which Alex will put up here so you guys can tell that I didn't cheat this one. The winner was, and this is for a book of your choice, so either The Glenn Penley Method or The Greatest Weightlifters of All Time, a pair of straps, box of tape, again you can choose a colour, a t-shirt, you choose a t-shirt, and a hoodie, you choose a hoodie. The winner is Coach Cub, K-U-B, C-O-A-C-H period or full stop K-U-B. Looks like he's a personal trainer in Manchester and a Weightlifting House fan. So, bro, congratulations. You've won it all. So I'll get in touch with you. Trying to think what else to add to that. How do people do these giveaways normally? You just announce it and then that person wins. We'll do some more. So guys, follow Weightlifting House Store. I'll start doing a few more of these so you guys can hopefully get your hands on a few of the things that we are doing. Maybe we'll give away a barbell at some point. That would be a big one. Maybe when we hit 10,000 followers on the Weightlifting House Store, we'll give away a barbell. And also guys, thank you so much because we just crossed the 100,000 mark a week ago or so on the Weightlifting House Instagram page. So hugely appreciate that. Okay, let's absolutely fly through the people's lifts very quickly. We're going to start off 67.5 kilo weightlifter. Is that really how much he weighs? 67.5. That sounds like an awfully precise weight. Joshua Bringas snatched 120 kilos, presumably at 167.5 kilos in the new Nike shoes, which I don't really like those new Nikes, to be honest. I don't like the big tick. Next we have Ryland Shriver 96. Ryland, R-Y-L-A-N-D, period, Shriver, like shiver, but with an R, 96. He just went 135, 171, which I think might be PRs. I'm not sure how old Ryland is, but I have a feeling he might be a junior. So really amazing lifting. He wants 140, 180. He's only 5 off in the snatch, 9 off in the clean and jerk. So if you want to see a freak of an athlete hit these freaky numbers, go and follow Ryland. Next we have Jimbo Swaggins, who maybe deserves this just for the fact that he's got the best name on Instagram. Jimbo Swaggins, 81 kilo weightlifter, trains at Ali Weightlifting, which is the gym of Alex Lee from America. Phenomenal X69, now 67 kilo weightlifter. And Jimbo Swaggins just went for a 3+3 3 cleans, 3 jerks at 150 kilos. I think he did it off the blocks as well. So follow for the name and follow for the lift. That's Jimbo Swaggins on Instagram. And then we have Adrian Red Carey, who in a YB Normal t-shirt, which I'm a huge fan of because obviously we make and sell the YB Normal t-shirts, he went 121, 151, PRs all around, 272 kilo total, and he did it supposedly after a 90-minute nap watching weightlifting videos. So living the dream. Go follow Adrian Red Carey on Instagram. And then finally we have Kenneth Stevens, Agent K109 on Instagram. He's a super, a plus 109, and he just hit a 160 kilo hang pow snatch. I think he asked whether it was a power or nah, and it was neither. It was a pow. So I guess technically when he said power or nah, it's nah because it wasn't a power. But nah tends to mean full, and it wasn't full, it was a pow. So 160 hang pow clean, which is mad. So guys, go follow Kenneth Stevens at Agent K109 on Instagram. That is absolutely everything. Congratulations to Coach Cub for winning the Weightlifting House store giveaway. Guys, head over to weightliftinghouse.com. T-shirts, beanies over there, hoodies over there. I would grab them, but I'm in a rush. Book, thumb tape, straps, barbells, plates. We got the whole lot. And head over to patreon.com/weightliftinghouse for loads of extra footage, programs, interviews, podcasts. We got the lot. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all on another episode of the Weightlifting House News Show.